In this video, we're going to talk about what qualifies you or anybody to become a marriage mentor. This is a high calling in terms of it's going to take some intentionality and time and emotional energy for you to choose to spend time with another couple and come alongside them and be willing to help them in their time of need. As we said before, marriage mentors don't have to have a perfect marriage because there is no perfect marriage. But it is important that you have a healthy marriage and you have a commitment to your marriage and you have an attitude that says, we're committed through sickness and in health and in every good and in every bad time. And you've demonstrated that. And other people in your life would look at your marriage and say, those guys work very hard and they have a great marriage. And again, that other quality is that you have the time in your schedule and a desire to come alongside and help another couple. If that isn't really your heart, or you're busy already and this would just be one more thing added to your list, then you may not be qualified to be a marriage mentor, at least not at this time, because it does require time and intentionality. Here's the first qualification. You need to demonstrate that you have choosing love in your marriage. That's our first basic marriage principle that we talk about in all of our marriage resources, this idea that love is about making choices. It isn't just about feelings. So for you as a marriage mentor, it'll be important that you have demonstrated that heart and attitude about love in your own marriage, that in the thick and thin of life, that you are committed to your marriage, that you're committed to your spouse, that when things aren't going as well, that you would be committed to whatever it takes to make your marriage work. You know, that you recognize that on your wedding day, you spoke vows, which are promises to your spouse that say, I will not give up on you. I will not give up on our marriage. That's a really important qualification for marriage mentors to have demonstrated in their own marriage. And if you don't feel like you could say that as confidently about love and commitment, then you may not be qualified to be a marriage mentor at this time. The second qualification is about earning trust. Again, this is our second principle in our marriage basics that's in all of our marriage-related series, this idea that trust is always being earned in marriage. That's the way it should be anyways. You should, as a spouse, you should both be desiring to be trustworthy individuals, that over the course of your marriage, you've added more and more trust. You've built up more into that trust bank account over the life of your marriage. You don't have unrepentant secret sin in your life that maybe your spouse isn't even aware of, that you've really established trust as a central piece of your marriage. And if you can't say that about trust in your own relationship, then you are not qualified to be a marriage mentor. The third qualification for a marriage mentor is all about the talking piece, that you keep talking. You know, again, that's our third principle in our marriage basics series, this idea that communication should be a central piece of your own relationship, that you value communication, you value knowing the perspective of your spouse, and that you work together, especially in times of conflict, to learn from one another, move through conflict, and come out on the other side having gained and learned and grown as a couple through it. You know, that you have demonstrated that in your own marriage, that communication is important, that you don't have unresolved issues that are out there. You don't have bitterness and resentment about past issues that have never been fully resolved. You know, that you've established that communication and conflict resolution has been a healthy piece of your relationship. It needs to be something that you model and demonstrate. It isn't just something that you would sit down with another couple and say, hey, make sure you talk to each other. But it's something that you do that comes out of your own life and is very evident in your own relationship. And if communication's been a struggle and you don't feel like you really resolve issues with your spouse, then you're not qualified at this time to be a marriage mentor. Let me say this again. To be qualified to be a marriage mentor does not mean in any way that you have to have a perfect marriage, because there is no perfect marriage out there. But what is asked of you is that you've demonstrated in those three areas of love and trust and communication, that you've established those as healthy components of your own relationship. And again, let me say this. Marriage mentoring is not professional counseling. I know a lot of people get intimidated to think, well, what am I going to say to someone if they bring up an issue? I don't know what to say. I'm not an expert. No one's asking you to be an expert. We simply want you to feel equipped, though, to have structured conversations that we provide for you in our resource library, and that you have a heart that wants to help another couple build into their own marriage.